Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Christine Anderson. I am a Los Angeles-based chiropractor for the past 30 years. And my specialty is pediatrics and pregnancy, and combining that with functional neurology to help with childhood developmental disorders. And basically, I love helping families grow up healthy. So, why am I here talking to you about toxins in skincare products? There's a lot going on right now in the world. Everybody's worried about coronavirus, and we're all staying at home. And here I am talking to you about toxins. Well, it's because viruses are going to come and go. There's always going to be something that our bodies do. We can't help that, but what we can do is help with the products that we're bringing into our homes. And I'm seeing a lot more illness in children and chronic conditions that normally I would usually not see, especially when I started out 30 years ago. So I figure people are at home. So they have the time now to really kind of look and see what is in their environment and see what they can do, because if you're exposed to toxins in your home, that's going to put a burden on all your systems, including your immune system. And that's going to make it tougher for whatever you're exposed to. So if you are out there, say hi, let me know you're there. You can ask me questions and I will do what I can do to answer them. But so, most people are looking at what they're buying with food. They're trying to get organic or pesticide free, GMO free, and they're trying to avoid chemicals that way. But it shouldn't be overlooked for the products that we're using in our home, like shampoo, lotions, deodorant, sunblock, etc. Because our skin is our largest organ. So whatever we're putting on our skin, good or bad, is going to get absorbed. So you can put beneficial things, and I'll talk a little bit about some of those, but if you're putting chemicals or toxins on, those are also going to get absorbed into your bloodstream, and fairly quickly, because your skin is your largest organ. And it takes things in, and it also gets out toxins. Hang on. Of course. Just when I go to get on live, right? So I'm just going to stick a lozenge in my mouth and hope for the best here. All right. So the FDA virtually has no power in regulating these products. And according to the Environmental Working Group, as I said last week when I was talking about makeup, women use on average 12 products a day. I think that's a low ball, really. And they contain 168 different chemicals. Again, I think that's a low ball. And this was done a couple of years ago. Men are using fewer products, but still put 85 chemicals on their bodies. And an EWG study, which is Environmental Working Group, found that personal care products expose children to an average of 60 chemicals each day that they either breathe in or absorb through their skin. And the problem with kids is that because of their body size, they're smaller, so they're going to tend to accumulate those toxins a lot quicker. They're also developing their nervous system, their hormonal system. All their systems are still developing. And then you go and you put these toxins on top of it, and it can affect what's going on with their hormones, their brain, their immune systems. So we have to be super careful, not only about what we're putting on our bodies as adults, but especially careful about what we're putting on our babies' bodies and our kids' bodies. Or if you're an adult woman and you're pregnant, everything that you're putting on your body is going to affect your baby. So if you haven't done it yet, you should also check out last week, episode 15. I was talking about toxins in makeup. So there is some crossover. So go back and watch that. And I think that you will gain a little bit more of an understanding about what I'm talking about. So some of these things I'm going to kind of go over, even if I talked about it last week, but I definitely talked about these things in depth. So number one, any product that has fragrance is going to have chemicals in it. It's going to have toxins. That fragrance, all they have to do is put fragrance on the label. They don't have to list what chemicals are in there. So it could be a combination of thousands of chemicals, and they do not have to list it because it's considered a trade secret. Now, this could cause irritation, it could cause allergic reactions, but the biggest thing is that a lot of these are hormone disrupting, so it can cause reproductive toxicity or developmental issues if it's a child, and it can even do things like create cancer later on. So most personal skincare products have fragrance in them. If it says fragrance, that's chemicals right there. And this is including children's and babies' lotions and oils. So you definitely have to check labels. Speaking of that, if you have not yet been to Environmental Working Group, that is an amazing resource. They have a skin deep database. You can plug in what you are using, and you can see what chemicals are in there and what your product is rated. You can also look up individual chemicals or toxins, and they will tell you what their take is on it, rating it between 1 and 10, 10 being the most toxic. So I highly recommend, when you're done with this today, maybe a project for tomorrow is to start going into your cabinets and looking at what you're using, plug it into the database, and just see how toxic these things are. And then you can start to change them out little by little. And if you go to, after I finish with this presentation at around 7 p.m. on my Young Living with Dr. Chris channel, I'm going to go through skincare basics. And then I'm going to have a bonus video talking about some of the products I use. So I'm going to put all those links in the description so you can find them. But yeah, I definitely highly recommend that. Dibutyl phthalates are part of the fragrances, and they are also solvents and plasticizers. And this is really a concern for the male reproductive system. And it's found in a lot of nail polishes, hairsprays, perfumes, lotions, soaps, and shampoos. Sodium lauryl sulfate is a cleansing and emulsifying agent. It can create skin irritation and just a whole bunch of other problems because of impurity contamination. And here's the thing. So it can be found in toothpaste, shampoos, conditioners, face and body washes, lotions, and hand soaps. The reason why they put it in there is for sudsing action. So you can use natural soaps and make your own DIYs, or you can take products that you have. And if you're not getting that sudsing action, you can actually add baking soda and it will do that for you. Okay. Triclosan I go into on a little bit about the toxins in makeup, and this is an antimicrobial agent. So it's something they put in there as like an antibacterial. If it says antibacterial, it probably has triclosan in it. It can be found in oral products, shaving products, creams, anything with color in it, and cosmetics. It can disrupt the thyroid and reproductive hormones, and it also can contribute to bacterial resistance because of that chronic exposure. Parabens are preservatives. The concern there is that they're hormone disruptors. They can create brain or neurotoxicity and skin irritation. It can be found in makeup, moisturizers, shampoos, conditioners, lotions, facial and shower cleansers, shaving products, and scrubs. Formaldehyde and formaldehyde releasers are preservatives. They are carcinogenic, and they can be irritants and create skin allergy reactions. But You don't want to have formaldehyde in your body or on your body. They can be found in nail products, eyelash glue, hair gel, hair smoothing products, baby shampoo, body soap, and color cosmetics. And I go into that in detail with the makeup episode. Siloxane, and that's a general ingredient. It usually ends in siloxane or methicone. The purpose is to soften, smoothen, and moisturize. It's a hormone disruptor. It can be found in hair products and deodorants. PEGs, again, go back and watch last week's episode, can be found in cosmetics and body care products, including baby lotions. Now, polyethylene, this is a thermoplastic resin, and this is used to make those microbeads that you find in body and face scrubs. They're not biodegradable. They persist in our environment, so it's called a POP, persistent organic pollutant. And the problem with this is it's going into our water system, into our marine environments. Fish are consuming these microbeads, and then guess what? You are consuming them if you are consuming fish who have consumed microbeads. So then you are absorbing this plastic into your body, and pretty much all plastics are hormone disruptors. So there you have it. The other thing that we're finding them in is beer, and that may be because some beer uses fish gills. It's called something like Ingersoll to clarify beer and wines. So sometimes your beer, great, huh? It's found in almost all of anything that's a scrub. And here's some alternatives you can look for. You can look for scrubs or microbeads made from things like cellulose, jojoba beads, apricot, almond, or walnut seed powder. So it's not the shells, they're actually ground into a powder. Or a sugar scrub or a salt scrub. So you can easily either make these things at home, or when you're buying products, these are some things that you can look for. I want to talk a little bit about retinol and retinol or retinol acetate. You're going to see these different things out there. In a lot of the anti-aging products, it's used to help promote collagen synthesis, and it can help reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It also can help keep pores clear and remove oil that can cause blemishes, so stuck pores. So the problem is that too much synthetic preformed vitamin A, including retinol, retinol palmitate, retinol acetate, retinol linoleate, can cause a variety of health problems, including liver damage, brittle nails, hair loss, and osteoporosis and hip fractures in older adults. So that is not good. It can also cause serious skeletal birth defects in a developing fetus. So for that reason, in Europe, Norwegian health authorities have cautioned women who are pregnant or breastfeeding to avoid cosmetic products with vitamin A. And we're not talking about natural vitamin A that you might find in food products, so don't get that confused. A 2012 study by the US government scientists suggests that retinol palmitate, a form of vitamin A, may speed the development of skin tumors and lesions when applied to the skin in the presence of sunlight. So for sure, if this is something you're using, you only want to use it at night, never during the day, because it reacts with UV rays. So what's some alternatives? Well, you can use vitamin A rich oils such as rosehip oil, or I'm going to try to say this, bakuchiol, Bakuchiol, and I will try to put that in the description. Alpha hydroxy acids are another thing that can increase UV skin sensitivity by 18%. So you have to be very careful with some of these things that you might be using for anti-aging. So the other thing out there that you're going to see a lot of these skin products have are something called skin lighteners or skin brighteners or even skin whiteners. So they are called hydroquinone. That's often on the label. Sometimes they use mercury. Sometimes they might even use steroids to do this. So these are pretty dangerous to be used on a regular basis. They can cause skin damage, liver and kidney damage, and too much use of steroids can actually create a scenario of osteoporosis. So you have to be super careful. And this is a big industry. In 2017, it was a $4.8 billion industry. So that's a lot. So if you're looking to help brighten your skin and even out the skin color, one of the things that you can use is lemon. It's a natural and gentle brightener, and you can safely use it to lighten scars and even out skin tone. But again, especially if you're using lemon essential oil, which is super concentrated, it's something that you only want to use at night because it can create photosensitivity and make your skin more sensitive to burning during the day. So you always want to be careful when using citrus oils, essential oils on your skin. Let's talk a little bit about benzoyl peroxide. That's another big one that's used on the face, especially when people are having problems with acne or breakouts, right? So it works by peeling away the skin to get rid of dead skin cells, excessive oil, and bacteria that can be trapped underneath. But what can happen is that paradoxically, you can dry the skin out so much that it then produces more oil to try to combat the dryness. So that's a problem. You can also get irritation such as redness and excessive peeling or itching or super, super dry skin so that it starts to really get irritated. So an alternative would be something like salicylic acid. And this was the primary ingredient in aspirin. It was originally made out of willow tree bark, and they took that component of salicylates, and it acts as a natural exfoliator. And what it does is it helps get through that top layer of our skin. So it goes down deep into the pores. It dissolves any backup of dead skin cells and kind of helps clear up those clogged pores, but it also helps to shed that top layer of skin so that it doesn't block pores in the future. It also tends to be an excellent anti-inflammatory agent. So think what aspirin does, and this is what salicylic acid or salicylates do. All right, we're going to quickly dive into deodorants and antiperspirants because this is a big issue. Many of the chemicals I talked about in the beginning are also in deodorants and antiperspirants, especially fragrance. So you're going to have a whole bunch of chemicals in there. Now, the difference between a deodorant and an antiperspirant is the fact that a deodorant is going to neutralize or mask armpit odor. Well, an antiperspirant is going to have something in there that's going to stop you from sweating. Sweating is our natural way of detoxifying and cooling. So when you do that, you're shutting down your cooling system and ways to get rid of your toxins. But in addition, even worse is that most of these antiperspirants contain something, usually aluminum, and that's going to clog your pores so you don't sweat. But you're also going to absorb that aluminum into your body. And when you do, where does that aluminum go? Well, studies have shown an increase in aluminum in the breasts of women with breast cancer. And so there might be an issue with that. And we also know that there are possible links of aluminum toxicity to Alzheimer's and dementia. That's where the aluminum is depositing in the brain and not able to get out. So there are natural alternatives. There are DIYs. It's kind of tricky because there are even natural things can be irritants like baking soda. Some people like to go through an armpit detox where you're using things like charcoal or activated charcoal, and you're detoxing yourself from your chemical deodorant and getting all those chemicals out of there. And once you do that, you're going to notice that you're not as odorant because bacteria are not growing where they used to grow because it's not getting all clogged up there. You're allowed to just sweat naturally. If you want to use natural things for deodorant, you can try things with witch hazel. I don't recommend alcohol. I do use a natural deodorant product that has essential oils in it. So it's sort of a discussion for another day. But again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when I talk about um, skincare and body care in my next presentation in about 10 minutes on my Young Living with Dr. Chris, so you can check that out. All right, just quickly, I want to get into sunscreens. So here's the thing, is all sunscreens are not created equally. Chemical sunscreens actually work like a sponge. They help your skin absorb those harmful rays. If you're using a natural sunscreen, it's using a barrier approach, and therefore it's blocking the rays from coming into your skin. So chemical sunscreens tend to be easier to rub into your skin without leaving a white residue. And they're going to contain one or more of the following active ingredients. Wish me luck on this. Oxybenzone, avobenzone, which can act as a synthetic estrogen and do some damage for your hormonal system. Your organ system can become toxic, and it's also toxic to coral. Octisalate, octocrylene, homosalate, that's another hormone disruptor, and it also increases the absorption of pesticides. Octinoxate, which is a hormone disruptor and toxic to coral. There can be nano particles in there. And then oftentimes you'll see octyl Methoxycinnamate, which is regarded as 70% safe, but still there's some people have concerns regarding its use, including biochemical changes that cause mutation and cell death upon exposure to sunlight. Well, hello, right? You're using this ingredient and going out in the sun. It can also create immunotoxicity, so it can affect your immune system. And when you are exposed to the sun, you can have an allergic response where the sun activates it. So far safer sunscreens are non-nano titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. Like I said, these act as a barrier. You're going to see a white kind of sheen on your skin, and it's going to reflect the UV rays. They're going to bounce off. Now, even better would be something like a swim shirt that's going to help block rays, a hat, an umbrella, being in the shade. That type of protection is better. Using a sunscreen when you're out in sun for a long period of time can help your skin if you're using one of these safer sunscreens. I'm going to go over a little bit about that. And again, it's something where, best, better, that type of thing. Better is just not to be out in the sun, direct sun, if you can help it. You do, a little note about this too, you do benefit from about 20 minutes exposure, give or take, depending on your skin color. So if you're a darker skin color, you are going to be able to stay out in the sun longer than a lighter skin color or sensitive. But you need that sunlight activation to make your own vitamin D. And this is super important, and it can be protective in its own way, and it has so many benefits. Sure, you can take a supplement with vitamin D, but get a little sun. I don't get sun on my face. I cover my face, but on the rest of your body, 15 to 20 minutes, and then cover up if you're going to be out in the sun longer. All right. So I want to leave you with a recipe, and I'll put this in the description, for a 7 sacred skin serum. That's a saying there. Just a note, when I give you this recipe, I only use Young Living essential oils. If you want more information on that, I highly recommend going to my Young Living with Dr. Chris channel. I won't go into it now, but just suffice to say, you don't want to put further toxins in and on your body by using essential oils that are not pure and therapeutic grade. And just because the label says it doesn't mean that they are. Watch my Essential Oils 101 class if you want to learn the difference between oils. Okay, so you're going to use 6 to 8 drops each of alemi. This is also called poor man's frankincense, but it has its own benefits. Frankincense, sacred frankincense, jasmine, geranium, sandalwood, myrrh, ylang ylang, and then you're going to add a rosehip seed oil to those oils, those essential oils, and that will be your 7 sacred skin serum for you to be able to use that has skin supporting properties and so many good benefits, but definitely things to support aging skin as well as just healthy skin. So I'm going to end now. If there's anybody out there that has a question, just let me know. I'm going to wrap it up so I can go over to my other channel. And again, that's Young Living with Dr. Chris. If you want to check out my skincare basics, where I'm going to go over supplements you can use to, supplements and food to support skin, and the steps that you need to take for taking care of your skin so that it can be healthy and happy. And, that's it. All right. I hope everybody's doing well. If you like what I have to say here, please like this. Share it with people, please. This is so important that we really look at what we're using in and around our home, on our bodies, on our kids' bodies. It affects everything and everybody. And this is really what it's all about. We need to do everything we can to keep ourselves as healthy as possible on all levels. So share it, subscribe, and then you will know when I have new content. And that's it. I will see you next Tuesday. I'm going to be going over basically indoor pollution. So that encompasses a lot: the air, the water, stuff. So that'll be the last week in this series of detoxifying our home and our bodies. And I hope you have a great week. And till next Tuesday.